Hey there folks, welcome to Spectrum Pulse. We talk about music, movies, art, and culture. I'm currently on holidays in the Dominican, which is why this video is a little bit late, but you all know what it is. This is Billboard Breakdown.
Black Beatles in the city, be back immediately to confiscate the monies.
Look, the majority of our news for our top 10 isn't all that good, if I'm being bluntly honest. It's all three stories that come from hip-hop. The first being that, yes, Black Beatles by Ray Sherman and Gucci Mane went back to #1, shocker. The second, kind of mixed blessing, because the only two real gains we had this week came from Fake Love by Drake continuing to go up, lovely, and Broccoli by Drum and Little Yachty, which, yeah, I like that song and I'm happy that it re-entered the top 10. But the big story, thanks to a meme that drove up its streaming, Bad and Bougie by Migos featuring Lil Uzi Vert, making their first top 10 hit for both artists. It's now at #2. Why? And you could have predicted a lot of our major dropouts this week. For one, we had the big loss of all the Christmas songs, shocker. But along with it, we also lost Do You Mind, which had a brief little bit of momentum last week before just finally falling off. It was reaching the end of its run anyway, I'm not all that surprised. Then there was the remainder of the J. Cole and the Weeknd songs that fell off, which, again, not really complaining there. And finally, One Night by Lil Yachty. Also gone. Okay, I'll take it. Overall, our losses, though, kind of a mixed bag. Yeah, it's no surprise that All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey is finally starting to drop off a little bit. It's coming with the end of the Christmas season. And both by Gucci Mane and Drake falling off a little bit, no complaints with that. Along with Deja Vu by J. Cole, I can't stand that song. But along with that, you also had losses for Just Hold On by Louis Tomlinson and Steve Aoki, Million Reasons by Lady Gaga, and sadly, Redbone by Childish Gambino, which doesn't look like it's going to stick around, at least until it gets a video, which, hey, you gotta hope for it, right? Okay, there was a huge number of gains this week. I actually had to bring up my laptop here because I want to make sure I got all of them, because I'm not sure I can get them all off memory. Let's see, there was the big ones for Bad and Bougie, obviously, broke the top 10. Then you have the continuing gains for Shawn Mendes's Mercy, This Town by Niall Horan. I'm kind of ambivalent on both of those. Chill Bill by Rob Stone featuring Jay Davis and Spooks. It's not a bad song. A huge pickup for Selfish by PNB Rock, which, no, not really a fan of it. How Far I'll Go by Alessia Cara, and You're Welcome by Dwayne Johnson, showing that the Moana soundtrack has actually had a fair amount of staying power, which is interesting to say the least. Then you had the big day gains off the debuts, which came through for Swang by Ray Shrimmer, Red Ops by 21 Savage, and OTW by DJ Luke Nasty, which is probably the best of them, but that's not saying much. Both those songs are terrible. Then there was a lot of big gains for country, which I'm guessing comes from a bunch of country Christmas songs getting rotated off. So you had stuff like May We All by Florida Georgia Line and Tim McGraw getting up big gains. Then you have Wanna Be That Song by Brett Eldridge, Dirty Laundry by Carrie Underwood, Star of the Show by Thomas Rhett, A Guy with a Girl by Blake Shelton, Sleep Without You by Brett Young, and Dirt on My Boots by John Party, which I can go with that one. Finally, with the rest, they aren't really great here. You Was Right by Lil Uzi Vert, No Heart by 21 Savage, and Metro Boomin. Seriously, who likes this guy? Then you have Say You Won't Let Go by James Arthur, Play That Song by Train, and finally, Hand Clap by Fitz and the Tantrums. I'm amazed this song has had any staying power. Like, it kind of blows my mind. Of course, then we have the returning entries, and again, we had a lot of them this week. The first came rather sadly on the passing of George Michael, as I predicted. We had the returns of Careless Whisper and Faith. Both are great songs. I'm happy to see them back. In fact, most of these songs that are coming back are really quite good. To Kill a Word by Eric Church and Rhiannon Giddens making a good, nice return. Parachute by Chris Stapleton. The worst country song returning is 80s Mercedes, and honestly, as a pop song, it's not bad per se. Hell, in hip-hop, we got Goosebumps by Travis Scott featuring Kendrick Lamar coming back, along with My Shit by a Boogie with the Hoodie will be coming back to him, trust me. And then there's the rest, which is Sex With Me by Rihanna, which thanks, but no thanks. The song's not very good. And finally, Black Barbies by Nicki Minaj and Mike Will made it, because one version of this song apparently wasn't enough. So, Daddy Yankee was 2 years behind in making his ass anthem, and now that he made this, I don't think we ever need another ass anthem, because you don't want to translate the lyrics, and his vocals are just ugh. Well, I can say this, the bass line's at least decent, but again, don't translate the lyrics. And then try to process the fact that this has almost 700 million views.
I hate you, I love you, I hate that I want you. You want her, you need her, and I'll never be her.
Look, you already heard me talk about Nash's version of the song. Apparently that was originally a remix that got redone. But let me ask this. Even though this is modestly better minus his Nash's turgid chemo context, did anyone want to hear this? Seriously?
And we're down, we go, oh, 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 we're down, we go, oh, 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 so we're down, we go, oh, 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 way down, we go.
Look, it's very obviously a Hosier impression, and yeah, including the lyrics and a lot of the instrumentation. It does take a little long to get going. I prefer the song be anchored in guitar, not piano the way it is, and it does feel a little underwritten. But at the end of the day, it's a Hosier impression. I'll take what I can get. It's a damn good song.
I cannot waste no time, bitch, I'm really timeless. I cannot leave my houses without diamonds. All the faces on my watches jump out it. Chains faces on the watches, now they frowning. I probably spent 100,000 on fly shit. QP spent 100,000 on mileage. Bruce Lee, kick it with me, I be styling. Two-seater Bentley and it's topless.
Okay, look, I like a bad Drake impression as much as anybody, which is meaning that I don't, but when the central line of your song, when it feels otherwise so empty with these oddly clumsy synths, is basically a flat-out contradiction, do you really have this being a hope of having a second hit? Because I don't see it happening.
I got old cats spazzing on they ass. I got Prada on my whole ass. Got my lab one mad. Pop a nigga like a damn tag. Shopping on they ass. I just bought a new old jet. Yeah, it's so fast.
Look, you're not gonna tell me that Kodak Black is a good MC, because really in terms of a lot of his content and really that sort of slippery flow that he has, he's not. But I gotta say, I don't mind this as much as I thought I would, mostly because of the production, which is way more bombastic than he can really back up, but really does save this from being just mediocre. So yeah, a pass, kind of.
Kiss a little more, think a little less. Burning up the night like a cigarette. And get you out of this bar, out of that dress. And kiss a little more, and kiss a little more, think a little less.
So on the topic of people who should not have had a second hit, okay, can you tell that Thomas Rhett co-wrote this? Because it really is kind of obvious. But really, that central line that drives the hook, kiss a little more, think a little less, here's my answer, no.
Spy with my little eye, a girly I can get cause she don't get too many likes. A curly-headed cutie I could turn into my wife. Wait, that means forever, ever, hold up, never mind. Oh, I spy with my little eye, a girly I can get cause she don't get too many likes. A curly-headed cutie I could turn into my wife. Wait, that means forever, ever, hold up, never mind. Oh.
You know, I'll say this for Lil Yachty, he's got decent taste in collaborating artists, because this guy Kyle, this is the first thing I've heard him from, but yeah, I kind of like this more than I should. It's got a weird sort of bubbly tone to the song, even against the trap snares, and you know what, Kyle's bars, they aren't bad, like they're pretty likable. Yeah, the hook's a little skeezy, he's going after girls who don't get that many Instagram likes because he thinks that he can sleep with them and then forget about them, which, you know what, you have to deal with this every time in hip-hop music, even on songs like this. But you know what? Lil Yachty's verse is not as bad as his was on Broccoli, which I'll give him credit for. And otherwise, yeah, I kind of like this. Not gonna lie.
I'm talking red hot, wet kiss falling off your lips. I'm talking red hot, red dress hanging on your hips. I'm talking backseat heartbeat pounding in my chest. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red.
Look, I like Dustin Lynch. I have forgiven him for, frankly, a lot. I actually liked his last album more than I think anybody else did. But yeah, this isn't very good. The lyrics are kind of flat and not interesting. The whole Seein red concept gets kind of overblown. That guitar tone is just flattened as all hell. It's really just kind of interchangeable and forgettable. And I'd like to think that Dustin Lynch, that he's capable of more than that. Just saying.
I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta move. She made that back move. Damn. She made the titties move. Damn. I made the city move. Like whoa. I made the city move.
This song frustrates me a lot because it should be better than it is. Because yeah, Big Sean is steadily becoming a better rapper. I will give him some points for that. And yeah, it's not a bad thing to see him hop against some decent punchlines. There's some corny ones too. The asthma attacking line very early. No. But I think my biggest issue here is with the production and the hook. Sure, it goes hard, I guess, and I guess for a strip club anthem, you don't need a lot, but can Big Sean at least sound turned up when he's doing his hook? Because this is not doing it for me. At all. Hate to say it, I like Bounce Back more. So that was this week of Billboard Breakdown and our new arrivals, and I have to say it's kind of a mixed bag really here. Now, for our best of the week, that's fairly straightforward. Way Down We Go by Kaleo just runs away with it. Although, honorable mention, iSpy by Kyle and Lil Yachty. I gotta say, I actually quite liked it. But where the controversy will come will be in the worst of the week. And let me make this absolutely clear. No matter how thunderously idiotic Shaky by Daddy Yankee is, it really accomplishes what it needs to do, and the instrumentation is not terrible, so I can kind of get behind it. Beyond that, though, if we want to go into the stuff that really pissed me off, that's Think a Little Less by Michael Ray for just being thunderously offensive in every way, shape, and form, and the dishonorable mention going to Timeless by Boogie with the Hoodie featuring DJ SPINKING. I mean, seriously, has there ever been somebody who's so much of a blatant ripoff and has no business being in the spotlight, let alone having a second hit? Anyway, don't worry, we're going to be getting back to regular videos come next week, and yes, I have my top albums of 2016 coming out pretty soon, probably within the next 2 days after this video. But until then, I'm Mark, you're watching Billboard Breakdown on Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.